Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your thoughts? Maybe you found yourself wondering, why can't I find peace in my mind? Or, how do I make sense of all this confusion? These questions plague many of us daily, making it challenging to navigate through life. Imagine standing in the middle of a bustling city, surrounded by noise and chaos, trying to find your way. That's what it often feels like inside our minds. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become lost in a whirlwind of emotions and thoughts. Each day brings new challenges and decisions, leaving us feeling even more tangled in our minds. But what if there's a way to find clarity amidst this confusion? What if the teachings of Buddhism could guide us toward a more peaceful state of mind? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the profound insights of Buddhism to help us untangle our thoughts and emotions. We promise to provide you with valuable tools and transformative advice that can change how you perceive your mind and life. As we delve into this journey together, we invite you to engage with us. If you find our content helpful, please remember, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people who might benefit from this wisdom. Let's embark on this journey to understand the confusing mind. In the following sections, we will uncover the nature of our thoughts and discover ways to achieve clarity and peace. Stay tuned, as this journey promises to be enlightening and transformative, understanding the nature of the mind. To begin our journey, let's first understand the nature of our minds. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean. At times, the surface is calm and clear, reflecting the sky perfectly. Other times, waves crash and storms brew, creating chaos and confusion. This ever-changing state is how our minds operate. The mind is a complex entity. It generates thoughts continuously, often without our awareness. Some thoughts are helpful, guiding us through life, while others can be burdensome, leading us to doubt and confusion. It's important to recognize that these thoughts are not who we are. They are simply passing clouds in our vast sky of consciousness. Buddhism teaches us that the mind has two aspects, the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious mind is what we actively think about, the decisions we make, the conversations we have. The unconscious mind, on the other hand, is a deeper layer filled with memories, emotions, and habits that we may not even realize influence our daily lives. When we experience confusion, it often stems from a clash between these two layers. Our conscious mind may desire clarity, while our unconscious mind holds on to fears, past experiences, and unresolved emotions. This internal conflict creates turbulence, much like a stormy sea. To truly understand our minds, we must become observers rather than participants. This means stepping back and watching our thoughts without judgment. Imagine sitting by the ocean, watching the waves roll in and out. You are not the waves. You are the observer of them. This practice of observation helps us detach from our thoughts and recognize that they are temporary. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything, including our thoughts and feelings, is temporary. Just as a storm eventually passes, so too will the confusion we feel. By understanding that our thoughts are fleeting, we can begin to loosen their grip on us. Meditation is a powerful tool for developing this observational skill. When we sit in silence and focus on our breath, we create a space between ourselves and our thoughts. We learn to notice when our minds wander and gently bring our focus back to the breath. This practice cultivates a sense of calm and clarity, allowing us to see our thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. As we practice meditation, we may encounter resistance. It's common for the mind to rebel against stillness, filling the silence with a barrage of thoughts. This is perfectly normal. The key is to acknowledge these thoughts without engaging with them. Picture them as leaves floating on a stream. They may drift by, but we don't need to grab hold of them. Understanding our minds also involves recognizing the patterns of thinking we've developed over time. Many of these patterns are shaped by our experiences, upbringing, and societal influences. Some thoughts may be rooted in fear or insecurity, while others might stem from positive affirmations and encouragement. By identifying these patterns, we can begin to question their validity. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? By challenging our thoughts, we start to unravel the confusion. Buddhism encourages us to inquire into our thoughts and emotions. This practice of questioning helps us separate our true selves from the noise of our minds. Another aspect to consider is the influence of external factors on our mental state. Our environment, the people we surround ourselves with, and even the media we consume can significantly impact our thoughts. It's important to cultivate a positive environment that supports clarity and peace. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift you and engage in activities that nourish your mind. Moreover, the practice of gratitude can shift our focus from confusion to clarity. When we take time each day to reflect on what we are thankful for, we train our minds to recognize the positive aspects of life. This simple act can reduce feelings of confusion and cultivate a sense of contentment. In our quest to understand the mind, we must also confront our fears. Often, confusion arises from anxiety about the future or regret about the past. Acknowledging these fears is the first step toward overcoming them. Buddhism teaches us to face our fears head-on, understanding that they too are temporary. As we delve deeper into the nature of our minds, it becomes clear that cultivating awareness and understanding is essential. Through practices like meditation, observation, and gratitude, we can begin to untangle the knots of confusion. The journey toward clarity is not always easy, but it is a path worth taking. By embracing the teachings of Buddhism and applying them to our lives, we can transform our confusing minds into spaces of peace and understanding. This journey is about learning to navigate the ocean of our thoughts, finding calm amidst the storms, and ultimately realizing that we have the power to shape our mental landscape. As we continue this exploration, let's remember that the mind is a tool that, when understood and trained, can lead us to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. The next steps on this journey will further illuminate the ways in which we can nurture our minds and cultivate lasting clarity. The role of suffering in mental confusion. Suffering is an experience we all share. It often feels like a heavy weight on our shoulders, clouding our minds and making it hard to see clearly. But what if I told you that suffering can be a powerful teacher? In Buddhism, suffering is not something to avoid. Rather, it's a part of life that can help us understand our minds better. When we face difficulties, whether it's anxiety, sadness, or confusion, we have a chance to learn about ourselves. These feelings can show us what truly matters to us. Imagine you're walking through a dense forest. At first, it seems dark and overwhelming. But as you move forward, you begin to notice the beauty around you. The trees, the flowers, the sunlight breaking through the leaves. This is how suffering can guide us. It helps us find our way through the confusion and discover our true selves. The first step in understanding suffering is to accept that it exists. Many people try to push their pain away, thinking that if they ignore it, it will disappear. But suffering is like a shadow. The more we try to run from it, the more it follows us. Instead, we can acknowledge our pain. This doesn't mean we have to dwell on it endlessly. It means recognizing it as a part of our journey. Buddhism teaches us about the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that suffering is a part of life. This might sound harsh, but it's a crucial realization. Once we accept that suffering is inevitable, we can begin to understand why we feel confused and lost. The second truth explains that our suffering often comes from our desires and attachments. We want things to be different than they are. We cling to people, experiences, and even our thoughts. When things change, as they always do, we suffer. For instance, think about a favorite toy from your childhood. If it breaks, the sadness we feel isn't just about the toy. It's about the memories and feelings attached to it. By recognizing this, we can start to see how our attachments create confusion in our minds. The third noble truth offers hope. It tells us that it's possible to end suffering. This doesn't mean we will never feel pain again, but rather that we can find a way to lessen its hold on us. We can learn to respond to suffering with wisdom instead of getting lost in our emotions. Finally, the fourth truth lays out the path to ending suffering. This path is called the Eightfold Path, which guides us in our thoughts, actions, and practices. By following this path, we can cultivate understanding and compassion, which help us navigate the confusing aspects of life. Let's think of suffering as a storm. It can feel overwhelming, and it may seem like it will never end. But every storm eventually passes. The key is to find shelter and wait for the calm to return. During the storm, we might feel lost, but once it's over, we can see things more clearly. The clouds will part, and we'll be able to appreciate the beauty around us once again. Through this understanding of suffering, we can start to transform our minds. Instead of seeing confusion as a burden, we can view it as an opportunity for growth. When we encounter difficult emotions, we can ask ourselves, what is this teaching me? This simple question can shift our perspective and lead us toward clarity. Mindfulness practices can be incredibly helpful in this process. When we experience suffering, it's easy to get caught up in our thoughts, spiraling deeper into confusion. Mindfulness teaches us to pause and observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By taking a step back, we create space between ourselves and our suffering. We can simply breathe and allow ourselves to feel without becoming overwhelmed. As we practice mindfulness, we begin to notice patterns in our thoughts. We might realize that many of our worries are linked to fears about the future or regrets about the past. By acknowledging these patterns, we can start to untangle the confusion. We learn that our thoughts are not facts. They are just passing clouds in the sky of our mind. In Buddhism, meditation is a key practice that helps us understand suffering. When we meditate, we sit in stillness, allowing our thoughts to come and go without getting attached to them. This practice teaches us that our minds are like a river, always flowing and changing. The more we meditate, the more we learn to navigate this river with grace and ease. With time and practice, we can begin to cultivate compassion for ourselves. Instead of harshly judging ourselves for feeling confused or overwhelmed, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness. We understand that everyone experiences suffering. This realization connects us to others, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Ultimately, the role of suffering in our lives is to guide us toward understanding. It pushes us to look deeper, to question our beliefs, and to connect with our true selves. By embracing our suffering, we can transform our confusion into clarity and wisdom. So, the next time you find yourself in a storm of thoughts and emotions, remember that it's okay to feel lost. Instead of resisting it, try to lean into the experience. Ask yourself what you can learn from it. With practice and patience, you'll discover that suffering can be a stepping stone toward a clearer, more peaceful mind. Mindfulness in the present moment. In our busy lives, it's easy to get lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. We often forget to simply be here, in this moment. Mindfulness is about bringing our full attention to the present. It's like tuning in to a radio station. When we focus, we can hear the clear signals of our experience. Imagine you're sitting outside on a sunny day. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, hear the birds singing, and see the leaves rustling in the breeze. When you allow yourself to notice these details, you begin to experience the world more fully. This is mindfulness, an awareness of what is happening right now, without judgment or distraction. Buddhism teaches us that being present helps us understand our thoughts and feelings better. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts as if they are clouds passing in the sky. Instead of getting caught up in them, we can simply watch them drift by. This perspective helps us realize that thoughts are not permanent, they come and go. One way to practice mindfulness is through meditation. You can start with just a few minutes each day. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. Notice how it feels as you inhale and exhale. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your attention back to your breath. This simple act of returning to the breath helps train your mind to stay present. Mindfulness can also be woven into everyday activities. Whether you're eating, walking, or even washing dishes, try to fully engage in the experience. For example, when you eat, pay attention to the flavors, textures, and colors of your food. Chew slowly and savor each bite. This practice transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for mindfulness. It's important to remember that mindfulness is a skill that takes practice. Some days, your mind may feel scattered and restless. That's okay. Be kind to yourself. Recognize that the journey to mindfulness is not about perfection, but about progress. Each time you bring your awareness back to the present, you are strengthening your ability to focus. Another aspect of mindfulness is acceptance. This means allowing things to be as they are, without trying to change them. Often, We resist uncomfortable feelings, thinking they should go away. But when we accept our emotions, both good and bad, we create space for understanding and healing. For instance, if you're feeling anxious, instead of pushing that feeling away, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I feel anxious right now, and that's okay. This acceptance can lessen the intensity of the emotion. Mindfulness also helps us cultivate gratitude. When we pay attention to the present, we begin to notice the small joys in our lives. A warm cup of tea, a smile from a friend, or the sound of laughter can become sources of happiness. Practicing gratitude can shift our mindset, helping us see the beauty in everyday moments instead of focusing on what's lacking. In our fast-paced society, we often rush through life, missing the treasures that each moment holds. By embracing mindfulness, we can slow down and appreciate the richness of our experiences. This doesn't mean we ignore our responsibilities. Rather, we learn to approach them with a sense of calm and clarity. As we develop our mindfulness practice, we may find that our reactions to stress change. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can respond more thoughtfully. When challenges arise, we can pause, breathe, and choose our actions with greater awareness. This shift can lead to more peaceful and fulfilling interactions in our daily lives. Mindfulness is also a powerful tool for self-discovery. When we quiet our minds and observe our thoughts and feelings, we can gain insight into our true selves. We start to recognize patterns in our behavior and understand the underlying reasons for our emotions. This self-awareness is a key step toward personal growth and transformation. Incorporating mindfulness into your life can be a gradual process. Start small. Set aside a few minutes each day to practice being present. As you become more comfortable, you can increase the time or try different mindfulness techniques, such as body scans or guided meditations. Remember that everyone's journey with mindfulness is unique. Some may find it easy to stay present, while others may struggle. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each moment spent in mindfulness is a step toward greater clarity and peace. Ultimately, mindfulness teaches us to appreciate the beauty of life as it unfolds. When we are fully present, we open ourselves to experiencing joy, love, and connection. Instead of being trapped in the chaos of our minds, we find freedom in the here and now. As you continue on this path, embrace the teachings of mindfulness. Let them guide you toward a more centered and fulfilling life. Remember, each breath is an opportunity to reconnect with the present moment. Embrace it and allow it to transform your experience of the world. The power of meditation and clarity. Imagine standing on a beach, watching the waves crash against the shore. At first, the water seems chaotic, each wave racing to meet the sand. But if you take a moment to observe, you'll notice a rhythm, a calmness beneath the surface. This is much like our minds, filled with constant thoughts and distractions, but also capable of deep peace. Meditation is the key that helps us tap into this calm. Meditation is often viewed as sitting in silence, but it's much more than that. It's a practice that allows us to train our minds to find clarity amidst the noise. When we meditate, we create a space where we can observe our thoughts without judgment. Instead of being swept away by them, we learn to watch them pass like clouds in the sky. This practice can be transformative. So, how do we start meditating? It doesn't have to be complicated. Begin by finding a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, whether on a cushion, chair, or even on the floor. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, letting your belly expand, and exhale slowly through your mouth. With each breath, allow your body to relax. Now, focus on your breath. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and gently leaving your body. When thoughts come, and they will, acknowledge them without getting caught up. Oh, there's that thought, you might say to yourself, then gently return your focus to your breath. This simple act of returning your focus is the essence of meditation. At first, you may find it challenging. Your mind might race with 1,000 thoughts, and that's okay. This is normal. The more you practice, the more you'll find that space of stillness within. Just like training a muscle, the more you exercise your mind through meditation, the stronger your ability to find clarity becomes. Meditation also teaches us patience. In our fast-paced world, We often want instant results, but true clarity takes time. As we sit in meditation, we learn to embrace the present moment, to be with ourselves as we are. This patience translates into our daily lives, allowing us to approach challenges with a clearer, more composed mind. Moreover, meditation helps us become aware of our emotions. Often, we react to feelings without thinking. Anger, sadness, joy, they all come and go. Through meditation, we can observe these emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we learn to respond thoughtfully. This is a powerful shift, enabling us to handle situations with greater wisdom. As we continue to meditate, we may also start to notice a shift in our perspective. What once seemed like insurmountable problems can begin to appear more manageable. With each session, we cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We realize that confusion is often just a momentary cloud, one that can clear with a little attention. Furthermore, meditation fosters a sense of connection. In a world that often feels isolating, taking time to sit quietly allows us to connect with our inner selves. It reminds us that we are part of something greater, that our thoughts and feelings are shared by many. This understanding can bring a sense of comfort and belonging. Another significant aspect of meditation is its impact on our health. Scientific studies have shown that regular meditation can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve overall well-being. When our minds are clearer, our bodies often feel better too. It's a holistic approach, where mental clarity and physical health go hand in hand. For those who find it hard to sit in silence, guided meditations can be incredibly helpful. These involve listening to someone guide you through the process, often incorporating visualization or specific themes to focus on. This can provide structure, making it easier to maintain focus and engagement. Incorporating meditation into your daily routine doesn't have to be a lengthy commitment. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference. Start with 5 minutes in the morning or before bed. Gradually increase the time as you become more comfortable. It's about consistency, not duration. Remember, meditation is a personal journey. Each person's experience will be different. Some days, it will feel easy and peaceful. Other days, it might be a struggle. Both are valid experiences. Embrace them as part of the process, and be kind to yourself along the way. As we continue to explore the teachings of Buddhism and how they relate to mental clarity, let meditation serve as a foundation. It is a tool that can help us navigate the complexities of our minds. By making it a regular practice, we begin to uncover the clarity that lies beneath the surface of our chaotic thoughts. So, find a moment today to sit quietly, breathe, and just be. Allow yourself to connect with that stillness and notice how it transforms your perspective. Each breath is an opportunity to cultivate peace, clarity, and understanding in a world that often feels confusing. Detachment and non-attachment. In our daily lives, we often cling to things. Our possessions, relationships, even our thoughts. We believe that holding on will bring us happiness or security. But what if I told you that this very attachment can lead to suffering? In Buddhism, detachment and non-attachment are vital concepts that can help free us from the confusion of our minds. Imagine a tree in a storm. The branches sway, and the leaves may fall, but the trunk remains strong. This tree symbolizes non-attachment. When we hold on to things too tightly, like those branches in the storm, we become vulnerable to pain and disappointment. However, if we learn to let go, we can withstand life's challenges much better. Detachment doesn't mean we stop caring or loving. Instead, it's about understanding the nature of impermanence. Everything in life is fleeting. Our emotions, our circumstances, and even our relationships. When we realize this, we can start to appreciate things as they are, without the pressure of needing them to last forever. Think about your favorite toy from childhood. You may have loved it dearly, but as you grew older, your interests changed. You learned to let go of that attachment, and in doing so, you opened up space for new experiences and joys. This principle applies to all aspects of life. By practicing non-attachment, we free ourselves to enjoy the moment without the fear of loss. In Buddhism, we often talk about the 3 poisons: desire, aversion, and ignorance. These are the root causes of our suffering. Desire leads us to cling tightly to things. Aversion makes us reject what we don't want. and ignorance prevents us from seeing the truth of our situation. When we learn to detach from our desires, we begin to see the world with clearer eyes. Let's explore this through a simple exercise. Take a moment to think about something you're attached to, perhaps a possession, a goal, or even a relationship. Close your eyes and visualize it. Now, imagine gently holding it in your hands. Notice how it feels. Are you gripping it tightly, fearing it will slip away? Now, imagine slowly opening your hands and letting it go. What happens? You may feel a sense of relief or lightness. That's the feeling of non-attachment. This practice of letting go is not always easy, but with patience, it can become a part of your life. Start small. Practice detaching from minor things, like your phone or a favorite shirt. Notice how it feels to let go, even for a little while. As you grow more comfortable with this idea, apply it to bigger attachments in your life. Non-attachment doesn't mean you won't experience pain or sadness. Loss is a natural part of life. However, when we practice detachment, we learn to navigate those feelings with grace. We understand that sadness is temporary, just like joy. This understanding brings a sense of peace, allowing us to embrace life fully without being weighed down by our attachments. Another important aspect of non-attachment is recognizing that we don't own our experiences. Often, we think we can possess our memories or emotions, but they come and go like clouds in the sky. By letting go of the need to own these experiences, we can appreciate them as they are, transient and beautiful. Let's reflect on relationships. Love is essential in our lives, but when we cling too tightly to someone, we can create tension and fear. Instead, imagine loving someone freely, appreciating them without the need to possess them. This kind of love fosters trust and growth, allowing both people to flourish without the burden of expectation. As you practice non-attachment, remember that it's a journey. It's not about becoming indifferent or apathetic. It's about finding freedom from the things that weigh you down. This freedom opens doors to new opportunities, deeper connections, and a more profound appreciation for life. In the Buddhist tradition, meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating non-attachment. Through meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without becoming entangled in them. We sit in stillness, allowing our thoughts to come and go like leaves floating on a stream. This practice teaches us that we are not our thoughts. They are just passing phenomena. As you meditate, focus on your breath. Each inhale and exhale can remind you to let go of what no longer serves you. Allow any feelings of attachment to rise and fall with your breath. With time, you will notice how these feelings have less power over you. You'll find clarity in your mind and peace in your heart. Detachment is a gift you give yourself. It allows you to live in the moment without the burden of worry or regret. When you practice non-attachment, you create space for joy, love, and acceptance. You start to see the beauty in life's fleeting moments and appreciate each experience for what it is, without clinging to it. Ultimately, learning to detach is about embracing the reality of life, its ups and downs, its joys and sorrows. By letting go of the need to control everything, you open yourself up to the richness of existence. You'll discover a new way of being, one that is filled with freedom, peace, and profound understanding. In conclusion, practicing detachment and non-attachment can transform how we experience life. By letting go of our clinging tendencies, we create space for clarity and joy. Remember, this journey takes time, so be gentle with yourself as you explore these concepts. Embrace the process, and you'll find a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. The middle way, balance and thought. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to find ourselves swaying between extremes. We might be caught up in our desires one moment, only to feel overwhelmed by our fears the next. This push and pull can create a sense of confusion and anxiety in our minds. But what if there's a path that leads us to balance? In Buddhism, this path is known as the middle way. The middle way teaches us to avoid the extremes of indulgence and denial. Imagine a tightrope walker carefully balancing as they traverse the rope. If they lean too far to one side, they risk falling. Similarly, if we lean too heavily into our cravings or our aversions, we can lose our footing and become lost in confusion. The middle way encourages us to find that delicate balance, allowing us to navigate our thoughts and emotions more effectively. So, how can we apply the middle way in our daily lives? First, it's essential to recognize our tendencies. Are you someone who tends to overindulge in comforts, like food or entertainment, to escape discomfort? Or do you often deprive yourself, thinking that pain is the only way to grow? Awareness is the first step toward finding balance. When we notice our habits, we can begin to understand where we might be leaning too far in one direction. Once we become aware, we can practice moderation. This doesn't mean we need to eliminate all pleasures or deny ourselves experiences. Instead, we learn to enjoy life without becoming attached. For instance, if you love sweets, you might savor a small piece of chocolate rather than devouring an entire cake. This way, you can appreciate the sweetness without letting it control you. Another aspect of the middle way is understanding our thoughts. Often, our minds create extremes by labeling experiences as good or bad. However, life is more nuanced than that. Instead of getting caught in these labels, we can learn to observe our thoughts without judgment. When a thought arises, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or harming me? This inquiry can help us detach from extreme views and find a more balanced perspective. Practicing mindfulness is a powerful tool in finding the middle way. By being present in the moment, we can notice our thoughts and feelings without getting swept away. When you find yourself in a stressful situation, take a moment to pause and breathe. Feel the sensations in your body, acknowledge your emotions, and simply observe them. This practice helps us create space between our thoughts and our reactions, allowing us to respond from a place of balance. The middle way also invites us to embrace uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and often, our desire for control leads to stress. Instead of clinging to certainty, we can learn to accept the unknown. Imagine a river flowing freely, adapting to the shape of the land. When we let go of the need for rigid control, we can move more fluidly through life's challenges, finding balance in the process. As we seek balance in our thoughts, compassion is essential. Being kind to ourselves allows us to navigate life's ups and downs without harsh judgment. If you stumble and find yourself leaning too far into an extreme, gently remind yourself that it's okay. Each step toward balance is a learning experience. By treating ourselves with compassion, we cultivate an inner environment that supports growth and understanding. Moreover, surrounding ourselves with supportive relationships can help us maintain balance. Engage with people who encourage mindfulness and moderation in their lives. Share your experiences and listen to theirs. This exchange can remind us that we're not alone in our struggles, and it can provide inspiration to keep seeking that balance. As we delve deeper into the middle way, it's essential to remember that this is a practice, not a destination. Life will always present challenges, and we may find ourselves leaning toward extremes from time to time. What matters is our commitment to returning to balance. Each moment offers an opportunity to recalibrate our thoughts and actions. In summary, the middle way invites us to walk a path of balance in our thoughts and emotions. By recognizing our tendencies, practicing moderation, embracing mindfulness, accepting uncertainty, and fostering compassion, we can navigate the complexities of our minds with greater ease. This journey toward balance is not always straightforward, but it's a rewarding one. As we continue exploring our minds, let's remember that finding the middle way is a beautiful process of self-discovery and growth. Compassion and loving kindness. Compassion is a powerful force. It goes beyond simply feeling sorry for someone. It's about genuinely wishing for their happiness and well-being. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the core values that can help us untangle our confused minds. When we cultivate compassion, we open our hearts and minds, creating space for understanding and connection. Imagine you're walking through a busy market. You see a stranger who looks sad and lost. Instead of just passing by, take a moment to really see them. What might they be going through? Perhaps they faced a difficult situation or are carrying a heavy burden. Recognizing this can spark a feeling of compassion. Instead of feeling disconnected, you start to feel a bond with this person, even if it's for just a moment. Loving kindness, or metta, is another vital aspect of compassion. It's about extending love and goodwill not just to those we care about, but also to strangers and even those we might find difficult to like. This practice encourages us to repeat phrases of kindness, wishing well for ourselves and others. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. These simple words can transform how we relate to others and ourselves. When we practice compassion and loving kindness, we create a more peaceful state of mind. Think about it. When you wish well for others, you often feel a sense of warmth and joy yourself. This positive energy can help to dissolve feelings of confusion and frustration, allowing us to think more clearly. A helpful exercise is to start with yourself. Often, we are our harshest critics. Take a moment to sit quietly and focus on your breath. As you breathe in, think, "May I be happy." As you breathe out, think, "May I be at peace." Doing this regularly helps to nurture self-compassion, which is the foundation for extending compassion to others. Once you feel comfortable with self-compassion, you can gradually expand your practice to include loved ones, acquaintances, and even those with whom you have difficulties. Picture someone you care about and silently wish them happiness and peace. Then move on to someone neutral, perhaps a neighbor you don't know well. Finally, think of someone you find challenging. This can be hard, but remember, everyone is facing their own struggles. By recognizing their humanity, you can begin to feel compassion. Engaging in compassionate actions is also crucial. This doesn't mean you have to perform grand gestures. Small acts of kindness can make a significant difference. Hold the door for someone, smile at a stranger, or lend a listening ear to a friend. These simple actions cultivate a sense of connection and help quiet the noise in your mind. In a world where it's easy to feel isolated, practicing compassion helps us realize we are all in this together. We all experience joy and pain, love and loss. Understanding this interconnectedness can significantly alleviate confusion. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by our own troubles, we recognize that we are part of a larger tapestry of life. Compassion doesn't mean we ignore our own needs. In fact, it often involves taking care of ourselves first so we can be present for others. If you're feeling depleted, it's okay to take a step back and recharge. This is not selfish. It's essential for sustaining your ability to help others. As we develop a compassionate mind, we become more attuned to the struggles of those around us. We begin to listen more deeply, not just to words, but to the emotions and feelings behind them. This deeper understanding fosters stronger relationships, reducing misunderstandings and conflicts. When we respond to others with compassion, we shift the focus away from our own confusion. We become less entangled in our worries and more engaged with the world around us. This shift in focus can bring clarity as we learn to see things from different perspectives. The teachings of the Buddha emphasize that compassion is essential for our spiritual journey. It helps us break free from the cycle of self-centered thinking and opens our hearts. As we develop compassion, we become more aware of the suffering in the world, inspiring us to take action and create positive change. It's essential to remember that cultivating compassion is a lifelong practice. You may find it easier some days than others. That's okay. The key is to stay committed to the process. Each small step counts. Celebrate your progress, no matter how minor it may seem. As you integrate compassion into your daily life, you may notice a shift in your mental state. Confusion can begin to fade, replaced by a clearer understanding of yourself and others. You'll find that the world around you feels less chaotic when you approach it with an open heart. In moments of confusion, remember to return to compassion. Ask yourself, how can I respond to this situation with kindness? This simple question can guide your actions and thoughts, helping you navigate through the fog of uncertainty. Ultimately, compassion and loving kindness allow us to live more fulfilling lives. They connect us to others and remind us of our shared humanity. By nurturing these qualities, we not only help ourselves but also create a ripple effect that can touch the lives of many. As we cultivate this compassionate mindset, we gradually discover that clarity comes not just from understanding our own minds, but from connecting with the minds of others. This beautiful exchange enriches our lives and helps dissolve the confusion that often clouds our perception. So, take a moment each day to practice compassion. Whether through a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or a simple wish for someone's happiness, you are making a profound impact. Remember, every act of kindness strengthens the bonds that tie us all together. Through compassion, we can transform our confused minds into spaces of understanding and peace. The Four Noble Truths and Mental Clarity. Let's take a moment to explore the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of Buddhist teachings. These truths can help us understand our confusing minds and guide us toward clarity. The first noble truth: life is filled with suffering. This might sound harsh, but it's a reality we all face. We experience pain, disappointment, and confusion. This suffering can come from various sources: loss, fear, or even our expectations. Recognizing this truth is the first step toward clarity. It allows us to accept our struggles rather than deny them. The second noble truth: the cause of suffering is attachment. We often cling to things, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or even ideas about ourselves. This attachment can lead to frustration when things don't go as we wish. For example, when we obsess over a missed opportunity, we lose sight of the present. Understanding that attachment fuels our suffering can help us loosen our grip and find peace. The third noble truth: there is a way to end suffering. This truth offers hope. It suggests that by letting go of attachment, we can achieve a state of peace and happiness. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, burdened by heavy bags. As you choose to set those bags down, you feel lighter and freer. This is the essence of letting go, releasing what no longer serves you. The fourth noble truth: the path to the end of suffering is the Eightfold Path. This path consists of 8 interconnected practices that guide us toward mental clarity and well-being. They are: right understanding, gaining insight into the nature of reality and the Four Noble Truths. This helps us see things as they truly are, reducing confusion. Right intent, cultivating thoughts of love, compassion, and non-attachment. By nurturing positive intentions, we can transform our minds and relationships. Right speech, speaking truthfully and kindly. Our words can create harmony or conflict. Choosing to communicate with care fosters a clearer mind. Right action, acting ethically and responsibly. Our actions shape our experiences. By aligning our actions with our values, we create a sense of integrity. Right livelihood, choosing a career that does not harm others. When we work with purpose and mindfulness, we contribute to a more peaceful world. Right effort, making a conscious effort to develop positive states of mind while letting go of negative ones. This is about practicing mindfulness and focusing on the good. Right mindfulness, being present in the moment. This practice helps us observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing clarity to emerge. Right concentration, developing the ability to focus the mind through meditation. This deepens our understanding of ourselves and the nature of reality. Together, these practices create a holistic approach to addressing the confusion in our minds. They remind us that clarity is not a destination but a journey. By integrating these teachings into our daily lives, we can cultivate a peaceful mind. As we reflect on the Four Noble Truths, we begin to understand that our minds are like a calm lake. When we clear away the distractions and attachments, we can see our true reflection beneath the surface. This clarity allows us to respond to life's challenges with wisdom rather than confusion. It's important to remember that this journey is gradual. We won't transform overnight, but each small step counts. By acknowledging our suffering, understanding its causes, and committing to the Eightfold Path, we can gradually unravel the complexities of our minds. In moments of confusion, pause and return to these truths. Ask yourself, what am I attached to? How can I let go? What steps can I take today to cultivate clarity? By consistently applying these principles, we create a solid foundation for a more peaceful existence. As we continue our journey, let these truths guide you. Embrace the process and allow your mind to clear like a bright sky after a storm. The path to clarity is open to all who seek it, and it begins with understanding the nature of our suffering and the choices we make. Karma and its impact on the mind. Karma is a simple yet profound concept. In its essence, karma means action. Every thought, word, and deed sends ripples into the universe, affecting not only our lives but also the lives of those around us. When we understand karma, we realize that our minds are shaped by our actions. Each decision we make, each moment we choose to react, builds our future. Imagine standing at a crossroads. To the left, there's a path lined with flowers and sunlight. To the right, there are thorny bushes and shadows. The choices you make at this moment reflect your understanding of karma. Choosing the path of kindness and compassion, even when faced with difficulties, will cultivate positive karma. It leads to a clearer mind, filled with peace and understanding. Karma isn't just about what happens to us. It's about how we respond to what happens. When we encounter difficulties, do we let frustration cloud our minds? Or do we choose to see these challenges as opportunities for growth? Every moment of confusion can either bind us or set us free. This understanding transforms our minds and helps us break the cycle of negative thoughts. Let's explore how karma affects our mental state. Imagine someone who constantly engages in negative thinking. They may complain about their job, their relationships, or their circumstances. This negativity breeds more negativity. It clouds their mind, making it hard to see the good in anything. Over time, their reality becomes a reflection of their thoughts. On the other hand, someone who practices gratitude, even in tough times, begins to shift their perspective. They find joy in small things and build a habit of positivity. This is where mindfulness plays a crucial role. When we are mindful, we become aware of our thoughts and actions in real time. We can catch ourselves before falling into negative patterns. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can pause, breathe, and choose our response. This pause allows us to act in alignment with our values, creating positive karma and leading to a clearer mind. Another important aspect of karma is its connection to relationships. Our interactions with others create a web of karma that influences our mental state. When we approach others with compassion, we not only help them but also nourish our own minds. The act of giving kindness often leads to a sense of fulfillment and peace. Conversely, if we engage in harmful actions or speak harshly, we create a cycle of negativity that can haunt us. Think of a simple example. When we argue with someone, we might feel justified in our anger. But that anger doesn't just affect the other person. It lingers in our minds, causing stress and confusion. Instead, if we choose to respond with patience and understanding, we foster a healthier relationship and a clearer mind. Now, let's talk about the long-term effects of our actions. Karma is not just about immediate outcomes. It extends into the future. The seeds we plant today will grow into the experiences of tomorrow. If we nurture a garden of positivity and kindness, we are likely to reap the rewards of joy and peace in our lives. However, if we allow negativity to take root, we may find ourselves in a cycle of confusion and suffering. Understanding karma helps us take responsibility for our mental state. It reminds us that we have the power to shape our experiences through our thoughts and actions. By consciously choosing kindness, compassion, and understanding, we can create a more harmonious existence. This awareness can bring clarity to our minds, allowing us to break free from the shackles of confusion. As we cultivate positive karma, we also create a supportive environment for ourselves and others. A community built on compassion and kindness fosters an atmosphere of peace. This peaceful environment nourishes our minds and helps us navigate the challenges of life with grace and clarity. In Buddhism, the idea of rebirth ties into karma. Our actions today not only affect our current life, but also shape our future existences. While this may sound overwhelming, it's empowering. It means that every moment is an opportunity to change our destiny. We can choose to act wisely, cultivate good karma, and contribute positively to the world around us. Now, let's connect this to the practice of meditation. Regular meditation helps us observe our thoughts and actions without judgment. It allows us to see the impact of our choices clearly. With this insight, we can choose to let go of negative patterns and embrace positive ones. The clarity we gain from meditation helps us navigate the complexities of life with a calm mind. As we become more aware of our thoughts and their consequences, we find that confusion starts to fade. Instead of being swept away by our emotions, we learn to ride the waves of our mind with balance and grace. This is the beauty of understanding karma. It empowers us to take charge of our lives. In summary, karma is a powerful tool for understanding the mind. It teaches us that our actions and thoughts create our reality. By cultivating positive actions and thoughts, we can transform confusion into clarity. Each moment is an opportunity to shape our lives and minds in a way that leads to peace and happiness. Embracing this understanding allows us to create a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Enlightenment, the ultimate clarity. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean, watching the waves crash against the shore. Each wave represents a thought, an emotion, or an experience. Some waves are gentle, while others are powerful and overwhelming. In our journey through life, we often find ourselves caught up in these waves, struggling to stay afloat. But what if there's a way to rise above the turmoil? This is where the concept of enlightenment comes in. Enlightenment in Buddhism is often described as a state of profound understanding and clarity. It's like reaching the calm center of the storm, where everything makes sense. But how do we get there? It begins with recognizing that our minds are often clouded by attachments, desires, and fears. These are the very things that keep us tangled in confusion. At its core, enlightenment is about letting go. It's about shedding the layers of misunderstanding and illusion that we've built up over time. Think of it as peeling an onion. Each layer reveals more of the truth, but it can also bring tears. Letting go of attachments can be painful, but it's necessary for our growth. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is the realization of anatta, or non-self. This concept challenges our very notion of who we are. We often cling to our identities, our roles, our possessions, and our achievements. But when we understand that these are all temporary and ever-changing, we start to free ourselves from their grip. This liberation allows us to see ourselves more clearly, unclouded by the expectations we or others place on us. Another essential aspect of enlightenment is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's like watching those waves from the shore, recognizing their patterns without getting swept away. This practice helps us to become aware of our reactions and understand the underlying causes of our confusion. As we develop this awareness, we can respond to situations with clarity instead of reacting impulsively. Meditation is a powerful tool in this journey. It allows us to quiet our minds and listen to our inner selves. During meditation, we can explore the depths of our thoughts and feelings, shining a light on areas that may be causing us confusion. With regular practice, meditation becomes a refuge, a space where we can reconnect with our true nature, free from distractions. Enlightenment is not a destination but a journey. It's about continuously seeking understanding and clarity. Along the way, we may encounter obstacles and setbacks, but these are opportunities for growth. Each challenge can teach us something valuable about ourselves and the world around us. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment is accessible to everyone. It's not reserved for a select few, but is within the reach of anyone willing to explore their mind and heart. This journey requires patience and commitment, but the rewards are profound. As we progress, we begin to experience moments of insight that illuminate our path, guiding us toward deeper understanding. Compassion is also a vital component of enlightenment. As we cultivate clarity within ourselves, we naturally extend that understanding to others. We start to see the shared struggles of humanity, recognizing that we are all interconnected. This realization fosters empathy and compassion, helping us to respond to others with kindness rather than judgment. As we embrace enlightenment, we gradually shift our focus from ourselves to the world around us. We become more attuned to the needs of others, and our relationships deepen. This shift brings about a sense of joy and fulfillment that comes from knowing we are part of something greater than ourselves. In this state of enlightenment, we learn to appreciate the present moment. Instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, we find joy in the here and now. This practice allows us to savor life's simple pleasures: a warm cup of tea, a walk in nature, or a conversation with a friend. These moments become rich and meaningful, filling our lives with gratitude. The journey to enlightenment also involves facing our fears. Often, our confusion stems from avoiding uncomfortable feelings or situations. By confronting these fears with courage, we can break free from the patterns that hold us back. This bravery opens the door to new experiences and perspectives, allowing us to grow and evolve. Ultimately, enlightenment leads to a profound sense of peace. When we let go of attachments and embrace our true nature, we find a quiet strength within ourselves. This inner calm becomes our anchor amid life's storms, providing clarity and direction. We learn to navigate challenges with grace, knowing that our thoughts and feelings do not define us. As we move closer to enlightenment, we also cultivate a sense of purpose. We begin to understand our unique place in the world and how we can contribute positively to the lives of others. This sense of purpose fuels our actions, guiding us toward a life filled with meaning and fulfillment. The journey to enlightenment is a lifelong process. It requires dedication, self-reflection, and an open heart. There will be ups and downs, but with each step, we become more aligned with our true selves. The confusion that once felt overwhelming begins to dissipate, replaced by a sense of clarity and understanding. In this state of enlightenment, we realize that we are not alone. We are part of a larger community, all seeking clarity and peace in our minds. This shared journey connects us, reminding us of the power of compassion and understanding. Together, we can support one another in our quest for enlightenment, creating a ripple effect of positive change in the world. As we conclude this exploration of enlightenment, let us carry these insights with us. May we embrace the journey ahead with an open heart and a curious mind. Each moment presents an opportunity to deepen our understanding and cultivate clarity. Remember, enlightenment is not an end but a beautiful, ongoing process. Embrace it fully, and watch as your mind transforms from confusion to clarity. Conclusion and final insights. As we come to the end of our journey through the confusing mind, let's reflect on the wisdom we've gathered. Throughout our exploration, we have discovered that the mind can often feel like a turbulent ocean, full of waves, storms, and unpredictability. But just as a calm sea exists beneath the surface, so too does a place of peace within us. We've learned that understanding the nature of our thoughts is essential. Our minds are not inherently negative. They simply reflect our experiences and perceptions. By observing our thoughts without judgment, we can begin to recognize patterns and understand their origins. This awareness is the first step toward clarity. Mindfulness has been a key theme in our discussion. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to anchor ourselves in the present moment. Instead of getting swept away by thoughts about the past or future, we can appreciate the here and now. This practice creates space for peace and reduces the noise in our minds. Each breath we take can serve as a reminder to return to that stillness within us. Meditation is another powerful tool we explored. By dedicating time each day to sit in silence and observe our thoughts, we cultivate a sense of inner calm. Just like a gardener tends to their plants, we nurture our minds. Over time, we begin to see the fruits of this labor: greater clarity, patience, and understanding. Detachment and non-attachment are also vital lessons. Holding on to our thoughts, desires, and worries can weigh us down. By practicing non-attachment, we learn to let go of what no longer serves us. This doesn't mean we stop caring. Rather, we learn to navigate life with a lighter heart, free from the burden of clinging. The middle way, a core principle in Buddhism, teaches us about balance. It encourages us to find a path between extremes. When faced with confusion, we can apply this wisdom by recognizing when we are too rigid in our thinking or too lax in our actions. Striking a balance allows us to respond to life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Compassion and loving kindness have also been integral to our journey. By extending compassion to ourselves, we cultivate a gentle mindset. This self-love creates a fertile ground for understanding and healing. When we treat ourselves with kindness, we are more equipped to offer the same to others, fostering deeper connections and a sense of community. The Four Noble Truths remind us that suffering is a part of life, but it also points us toward a path of liberation. Acknowledging our suffering allows us to face it with courage. It encourages us to seek the causes of our confusion and suffering, ultimately guiding us toward the cessation of those cycles. Karma plays a crucial role in shaping our experiences. Our actions, both positive and negative, create ripples in the fabric of our lives. By being mindful of our actions and their consequences, we can steer ourselves toward a more fulfilling and peaceful existence. Each choice we make offers us an opportunity to create a brighter future. Finally, the ultimate goal we aspire to is enlightenment. This state of clarity and understanding is not a distant dream but a potential within each of us. As we continue to practice the teachings we've discussed, we inch closer to that light. Enlightenment is not about perfection. It's about seeing the world with fresh eyes, free from the distortions of our minds. As we conclude, remember that the journey does not end here. Each day offers new opportunities to apply these insights. Embrace the path ahead with an open heart and a curious mind. Continue to explore, question, and practice the teachings of Buddhism in your daily life. May you find peace within your mind and share that tranquility with others. The world can be a confusing place, but with the tools and wisdom we've uncovered, you are equipped to navigate it with confidence. Embrace each moment, honor your journey, and keep weaving your own wisdom into the fabric of life.